Episode 9, take 2.
You maybe know this from my social media, but I'm a total weirdo.
Me too.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Talking to Earthlings with Lunakye, where we explore the humanism within all of us. Today, we welcome life coach and content creator Alyse Parker. With over half a decade of certified coaching experience under her belt, she has managed to go from food stamps to 6 figures in 1 year and has over 680,000 subscribers on YouTube. She's also thoroughly obsessed with her golden doodle, Silo Nelson. Hello there, little Nugget.
Hello.
I bet you weren't expecting that, were you?
I was not expecting that at all.
Where did little Nugget come from?
Little Nugget came from college, and I was just like the smallest person in my group of friends, and everyone called me Little Nugget.
That is a beautiful story.
Yeah.
So you have quite the resume for being as young as you are. Tell me a little bit about your past and what led you to become a content creator and life coach.
So growing up, let's say when I was in college, I was kind of going through this health transformation, realizing that I was not nearly as healthy as I wanted to be. And so I reached this point where I hit a rock bottom. My entire life, like toxic friendships, I was overeating on unhealthy food, drinking, drugs, talking really negatively to myself, like consuming toxic content. Everything was just like really dense, and I reached this breaking point. And I kind of did an overhaul on my entire life. I started meditating, journaling, going on hikes, releasing toxic relationships, affirmations. I started journaling every single day for 6 months, like a full page of my journal. I wouldn't shy like one line shorter. And I released the processed food and started eating raw vegan. I was inspired by this YouTuber who ate totally raw vegan, and like all of her videos were so vibrant. And I was like, I want that life for myself. I want this vibrant life. And so within a matter of days and weeks, I just started to feel better and better, more clear, more energized, like more happy. And I wanted to inspire others, as this one person, other people online had inspired me. And so that was like the beginning of me starting to document my journey. That was the start.
That's a pretty big life transformation to have.
Yeah.
How did you have that transformation?
For me, it was like completely black or white. Like I went cold turkey on this complete like 180 life overhaul. To me, that was like the only way I could do it. I couldn't keep like trying to make a change here, trying to make a change there. For me, like it had to be this line drawn in the sand, no more. I'm going to do everything differently.
Wow, very cool. There's not a lot of people who could say that.
No, I think there's definitely a group of people out there who are that like hardcore. And then there's a lot of people out there who are like, I just could never do it that way. Like it's gotta be like one step after another.
Do you have a pretty extreme personality?
Not in this moment. Maybe I still like verge into that, but not nearly as much as I used to. In the last year to 2 years, I've been finding this middle ground, this balance, this neutrality. But for like 4 to 5 years before that, or even longer, it was always like that side of the spectrum to that side. And I found a lot of thrill in it, adventure in it. I learned so much from going all in on so many different things. And ultimately, as I'm growing older, I'm learning that I can still learn a lot by like dabbling without going to the extreme. But I still definitely like have that little extreme nature in me.
So you said that you're finding balance, or you're finding a more neutral place.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that has become more natural for you, or do you need to work on it on a day-to-day basis consistently in order to maintain it?
It's been more natural for me. In the past almost 2 years now, I have been seeing an energy worker, energy healer every single week. And in that work, it's been so beautiful and life-changing. And I've been able to release this identity of being that extreme person. And that was a really hard thing to release and let crumble, like really terrifying experience, because for so long, that was my identity. Like, and bringing that into content creation, like I knew what would go viral. I knew what people would be like, oh my God, are you fucking kidding me? And it was always authentic for me. Like I love to just like go wild and do all these crazy experiments and challenges. And yeah, ultimately I've been releasing that and knowing that that's not me. I can still dabble in that and do that, but there's something underneath those things.
So cool.
Yeah.
So in a video that you posted online, you talk about childhood belief systems, and I know that as children, certain belief systems often become so ingrained in us. What were the beliefs that you were raised with, and have you held on to those?
I feel like the best way I can answer this question is more so like what was modeled to me when I was a child, because I think that oftentimes with our childhood conditioning, like it doesn't always have to be things that were said to you, like, hey, little child, believe this about this thing, but rather like within our mom and our dad and our caregivers, like the way that they behave and the way that they act and what's modeled and what's felt from them is how we learn how to relate to ourselves and others. And so for me, like definitely something that I was conditioned with as a child, like bless my mom and dad, they did the best they could. All of our parents have. And I definitely picked up this belief that I'm a burden and that I'm too much and that I need to play small. Over the years, I started to notice like there's so many different ways that shows up for me. One is like I'm small in size, but I sometimes make myself smaller by like sitting like all curled up and just having like smaller physical posture. And so when I became aware of that, I started to like try to actively release that and change that. That's one belief or one way that I remember or like put together being conditioned. I forget the second part of the question.
Oh, it was just what were your beliefs growing up, and have you held on to those?
Okay, so I'm sure that there's still like little sneaky ways that I am embodying things that I was conditioned with or believing from my childhood. I've also been doing a lot of work in that realm, and I am a big advocate for like investing in personal development and mentors and the whole range of like energy workers, psychotherapists, hypnotherapists, going to like transformational retreats and really doing this deep like somatic work. And so the I'm a burden one, I've moved through a lot, and also really beautifully been able to share that with people close to me and kind of enroll them in supporting me in healing that. So an example of that is like my best friend and my boyfriend know that that's something I hold with me, and how that would show up of like I'm often the listener and not often the talker in a one-on-one conversation. And so for them to be able to like create a safe container and know that I often feel or would feel like I would be too much, and for them to like gently ask like, oh, can you expand on that a little bit? Or, hey, I just want you to remember that you're safe with me. So I've moved through a lot of conditioning with the support of others. And then also like mindset transformation, like being able to identify what beliefs I've had that are holding me back, like money is bad, money is evil, it makes people greedy, and being able to identify that and then like turn that into a new belief system and like consciously and consistently repeat that to myself and also be able to like feel that all the way through.
Okay, so you believe in manifestation, the idea that our thoughts and subsequent emotions create our physical reality, yes?
Yes.
So from start to finish, how does that process work?
I recently read this book called Conscious Language, and it is all about the language system and how twisted it's been recently. And we often speak into things that we don't want. We complain about certain things, or we'll say, I really want to change this, or I'm working on getting healthier, or I really want to make more money, or I'm working on finding my partner. And in the nature of I'm wanting something or I'm working on it, we're actually declaring that we are staying in that state of wanting, which is not having and arriving at the thing that we desire. Same thing with working on. We're declaring that we are staying in that state instead of I claim this for myself, or I am, or I have in the present tense. And so by shifting our language system, first we need to shift our thoughts. And in order to shift from I want to I claim this, that requires a shift in our consciousness. And that creates a shift in our energetic and emotional body. And so that whole transition into declaring and speaking as if is powerful, and it has the ability to bring that into our fruition, or like bring that into our reality. And then the cool thing is like people that we're close to, they hear us talking like that and they start to catch on, and they're able to create their reality in a more conscious way. And then also our generation and future generations, it just feels so important to be conscious of. And I feel it's also important when like moving in that direction to find evidence that it's working, to find evidence of, oh, when I shifted from I really want to get healthier to I claim a healthy body or I claim a clear mind, noticing how that feels in our body, and then noticing like day in, day out, what starts to change, and using that as evidence. And like, it's just this whole cycle.
Yeah. So that process of manifestation, having a thought or thoughts, and then that eventually at some point creating your physical reality, would you say that's rooted in science? Is it metaphysical? Is it, like you said, you spoke about energy. Is it an energetic force? Are we on an energetic grid? What exactly is it just the laws of nature, of the universe? How does that unfolding process happen?
Yeah. So it is the law of the universe. It's metaphysical, the law of cause and effect. So the cause is our state of being, our words, our thoughts, and the effect is our reality. And everything is energy. This is energy, your energy, I'm energy, our thoughts are energy, our feelings are energy. And so when we shift our state of being, that also impacts our external reality. I have so many stories of writing in my journal, the nitty-gritty, this is another key element, like the nitty-gritty details, because when we're vague in what we declare or what we desire, we want to create, the universe can only bring us that vagueness. It can't bring us like this detailed sensory experience if we're not clear and putting that out there to have something match that. So journaling like the details of like I want this or not I want. I have this home in Hawaii, and there's 2 palm trees right outside, and I can see the ocean, I can hear the waves of the ocean, I can smell the salt water. It's a 3-bedroom home, and it's unfurnished, and I paint one room pink and one room blue, and this is what the kitchen looks like, and there's like blah, 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 blah. All the details, all in the present tense, all I'm so grateful for this. I'm so lucky to have this. Like, I love waking up and seeing this. And reading that and speaking that out loud and allowing myself to match the state of arrival in that place. And then also putting on my calendar, this is the day that I move in, and that shit happens. And it comes down to consistently tapping into that more than tapping into the lack of, I really want like a home like this and I'm just so unhappy where I am, we're going to continue to be in that state unless we declare and choose otherwise.
Yeah, that's so beautiful because I have a similar experience. I was searching for a condo here in Los Angeles to buy for a couple of years. I really wanted it to be a specific condo. And I kept narrowing down. I knew it was going to come. I just didn't know when, and I didn't know exactly what it was going to look like. And there was a little bit of anxiety around that, but something inside me knew it was going to come. And eventually, my real estate agent sent me an email with this condo, and it was exactly what I needed, and it was exactly what I envisioned, and it was within the price range. And I just remember just being in awe and just going, whoa, like this doesn't feel like just a coincidence.
Yeah. So I think you hit on a key element is I knew this was going to come. So the key element is non-attachment to the outcome. Crystal clear, like details, feeling yourself there, but not being attached to when, why, how, anything, and allowing it to arrive in the perfect way. So by you having that knowing of like, I know this, I don't know all the details, I know some details, but there's this knowing, like that is it. And I think that's something I've carried with me for a really long time, for like 6+ years ever since I started learning and like applying this. It's something that I'm always conscious of is, the way that I like to describe it is like knowing that that is your future reality. That's non-negotiable. Like I am there. I have this beautiful connection with this person and we're laying in bed and we're like rubbing our noses together. Like that's a reality in the future. Like get so detailed. And then it's just a matter of time and alignment and miracle between now and when that happens, but that is happening. Instead of having the doubt of like, I would love that, but like, am I worthy of that? I don't know.
Can I play the devil's advocate for a second?
Oh, hell yeah. Let's go there.
What do you say to a single mother who has a low-paying job, has children who need help with schoolwork, and she can't help them, and is extremely depressed because she also can't pay her bills? How does that mother change her thoughts?
Yeah, so this is something that I actually support my clients with, and interestingly enough, there's been a lot of mothers who have been going through my program and applying for my program, and there is always one little next step that anyone can take in their situation, and a couple of ideas or practices that I would share with this mom would be, one, what makes you feel good? What allows you to feel a little more relieved of stress and the burdens of everything that's going on? And how can you gift yourself a little bit of time each day to get into that state, to allow yourself to feel a little bit better, more relieved, more connected, more at ease, more still, even if it's 1 minute every morning, 1 minute every evening. And another would be to something that I call energy tracking. So tracking your relationships, the content you're consuming, your behaviors, your thoughts, things of that nature, and kind of gathering data for like 1 week. So tracking everything that you do, you engage in, and take a look at what is taking your life force energy and what's giving your life force energy. So I would invite this woman to explore, is there any content that you're consuming, any way that you are distracting yourself from feeling what is present? And are there any little things that are like filling the gaps of your time that could be released or transformed, transmuted into something that's more supportive for you? It could be she's watching the news for 5 minutes in the morning, and that could be transitioned to a guided meditation. Anything that's just like kind of filling the gaps and like keeping this like stagnant reality could be used for researching a higher paying job or a job that aligns with her, or starting to pick up a hobby for herself, or researching like how to better navigate a busy life with children. I believe that everyone has this inner knowing of like what's one thing that would be supportive for you, and to focus on those little steps. In my journey, like when I was doing that complete overhaul in my life, dealing with a lot of anxiety, depression, like suicidal thoughts, I reached a point of no more and started Googling, how do I be kind to myself? How do I be nicer to myself? How do I get healthier? And I imagine everybody has a different type of experience with that like turning point of, okay, I'm ready to learn something. I'm ready to make a little bit of a change here. And for me, like I have people of all walks of life. I have 11-year-olds sending me messages saying, what you share has helped me believe in myself. And I also have a lot of older people following me and saying similar things of like, you have taught me things that I'm 50 years old and I just didn't know, and this is like a new chance at life for me. And yeah, so what I believe is like, keep doing the best that I can to continue sharing these messages, and trust that when the timing is right, certain people will find me or find somebody else that they resonate with, because I believe we each have our own unique story, and not everyone's going to connect with me, not everyone's going to connect with you, but there are certain people who will, and that's part of their path. And I do believe that there needs to be a level of acceptance of some people will choose a certain reality for themselves. I was in a relationship for 4.5 years, and towards the end, there was kind of like a codependency pattern that I noticed. I was the enabler and had this story of like, he's not going to be okay without me. And he was on the other side feeling like he was not going to be okay without me. And we were co-creating that reality. And I had this fear of like, if I initiate this breakup, like this person's not going to be okay. Like they're going to go downhill. And I didn't like want to be believing that, but that was a thing. And we ended up parting ways. A year later, I checked in with them, and they were like not to share their details, but they were not in a good place. And I had to come to terms with that wasn't my responsibility. We're each responsible solely for ourselves and our own alignment. And that is the biggest gift that we can contribute at the end of the day. Because if we're focusing on like finding these people, helping these people, where's the focus on our state of being? And like we're each sovereign beings co-creating this reality, like that has to be primary.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that, because I firmly believe that the more we focus on ourselves, not in like a narcissistic way,
No.
or like a cocky way, but the more that we focus on improving ourselves and our own lives, the more we'll actually help others naturally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's an effect that just radiates out.
Yeah.
You know, because we become stronger within ourselves.
Yeah.
We become more aligned, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
And people see that and people feel that, and it's like we're putting an energy out into the world.
Yeah.
That is a very healing energy that helps others to grow.
Yeah. I love that so much. It's so much of what I share is the importance of like really embodying it in ourselves versus like teaching or telling or trying to create this change in the world. It's like the difference of, have you ever met someone who like speaks about all these profound things, and yet maybe it's someone you know personally and there's like a little bit of incongruence, like, yo, are you really walking the talk? And so the words that they say make a little bit less of a deep like impact that you fully absorb. And then have you ever met someone who doesn't need to say an inspiring thing at all? It's just their way of being that teaches you.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The power is not necessarily in the words.
Yeah.
I mean, the words can be powerful, but you have to also live those words.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Share with us your favorite affirmation.
I move through life with ease and grace.
I love it. It's so simple, but it's It's wonderful. I mean, if you literally said that to yourself once every day,
Yeah.
just closed your eyes, took a breath, took a moment of presence, and said that. Yeah, you know what? Let's say it together.
Let's do it. Ready?
Let's do it.
Let's close
Ready?
our
Wait, what
eyes.
is it again?
I move through life with ease and grace.
Okay. All right. So, can someone count us off? Like say 3, 2, 1, go. And then we're gonna breathe together. I move through life with ease and grace. Okay. All right.
3, 2, 1.
I thought we were going to breathe and then do it.
I did breathe.
Let's
but-
just shout it.
Okay, let's shout it.
I move through life
With ease and grace.
Yes.
Okay. I love that. The next question I have is really, really important.
All right.
You ready for this?
I'm ready for it.
If a hot dog and a taco got into a fight, who would win?
Oh my gosh. A hot dog.
Why?
Because I feel like it would just like slap the taco and the taco would fall everywhere.
It would slap the taco.
Well, like a hot dog is like dense and a taco is more like, I mean, depending on what you put in it, it feels like easier to like crumble and like fall apart.
Totally.
Like I don't know how a taco would annihilate a hot dog.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a really, and I feel like the bun is like its shield almost, like it'd be like a buffer.
Oh, I was picturing a naked dog.
Oh, I think that would just be like a wiener.
Yeah. Yeah, well, either way, bun or no bun, I think that the hot dog would win.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you.
Yeah.
Because the taco is just so fragile.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope there's a metaphor for life in there somewhere.
Somebody will find one.
Okay, so this is the most important question as it relates to the Talking to Earthling series.
Okay.
What does it mean to be human?
What it means to be human is grounded and embodied in our physical vessels and not too much like our spiritual, like energetic being, like taking over, but really like bringing that in and like choosing to be home and like embodied in our like humanness and yeah, to be in touch with like all the strange things about this existence. I think also to be human means like we have a mind, we have a body, we have this spiritual essence. We get to navigate and learn like about those parts of ourselves and experience like the conditioning from our mind and work through that, experience physical illness or struggles and gifts of having this human body. Yeah, I think those are the things that make us human. And having a heart too. We have hearts.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you mean that physically, or do you mean that in like a figurative sense? Like having a heart, like being kind?
Like both.
Okay.
Yeah, like the chakra is like the heart chakra, and also then like we have a heart. We have this like, we wouldn't be human if we didn't have this body. And so like claiming all of those things and working with them and learning about them and like experiencing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Alyse Parker, little Nugget, thank you so much for being here today. We really, really, really appreciate it. We're really passionate about talking to Earthlings, and I'm just so excited that you were able to come from Austin, Texas and be here with
Yeah,
us.
thank you.
I really, really look up to you, love your content, love the person that you are. Is there anything that you would like our audience to know about upcoming projects you're doing?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here. This has been so fun. Thank you for flying me out from Texas to stay here and visit and do this. On social media, I'm pretty much Alyse everywhere, Alyse. And then I'm in the midst of creating a new offering which I imagine will be out by the time this airs, which is called Higher Self Initiation. And it's a 30-day online experience where we get to identify like what's the current crisis with why we're not connected to our highest potential and methods for connecting with our highest potential, and then how to self-audit when we feel like, oop, we're a little out of alignment, and how to get back into that state of center, ultimately, so we can have a more fun human experience and create an impact. So that's something I'm excited for, and yeah, that's all.
That's so awesome. Once again, thank you so much for being here, and give me a hug.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for watching that episode. As a reminder, we've created Talking to Earthlings to have raw and honest conversation with one another in an effort to unite human beings who may not agree ideologically, but who can be inspired by one another's vulnerabilities. By watching our show, you are helping us accomplish our goal of changing the world, one conversation at a time. Make sure to follow us on socials to stay updated. Thanks.